Then another thing, I'm just seeing in news now that Tinubu has nominated a number of people for. So breaking news from Punch. Tinubu nominates. Wow, this is interesting. I have to read this. Wow, Femi Fani-Kayode Omokri nominated as ambassadors. Finally, Fani-Kayode was one of those key supporters of Tinubu before the election in 2023. He was one of those key supporters. He was with other key members of Tinubu's team, and he was not appointed as minister. There were a lot of board appointments that were made. He was not appointed. But here we see Fani-Kayode being appointed. Reno Omokri, who was first in Atiku scam, supported Atiku, raised a lot of things against Tinubu for the election. But when Atiku lost at the cost, Omokri now made the 360 or 180 now, and now started singing the praise of President Tinubu. So this is a Punch report. So President Bola Tinubu has sent the names of 32. Okay. So President Bola Tinubu has sent the names of 32 ambassadorial nominees to the Senate for confirmation. Days after he sent the first batch of 3 names. Among them are former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmood Yakubu. Former INEC Chairman has been made ambassador. Yes. Former chairman of INEC, Mahmood Yakubu, has been made ambassador. Then an aide to former President Goodluck Jonathan, Reno Omokri, from Delta State, has also been nominated for ambassadorial role. Ugwuanyi, yes, former Enugu State Governor. Ugwuanyi has also been nominated. Ugwuanyi was part of G5. Remember that when Wike lost the primaries to Atiku in the PDP, Wike now formed G5. Wike and 4 other governors, Wike and Samuel Otum of Governor of Benue State, then with Ugwuanyi, Governor of Enugu State, then with the Governor of I think Ikpeazu or something, Governor of Abia State, then with the Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, they formed a G5, which were now opposed to they were opposed to Atiku, and they were in PDP. They opposed Atiku was the candidate of the PDP, and they supported the Buhari. So it seems now this one now is now payback to Wike, who was the leader of the gang, was made minister of the FCT. Seyi Makinde is still governor of Oyo State, though he has fallen out with Wike. But it seems as if the other members, because you have Otum has not really benefited, he's still facing challenges. Then now we see and I think Ikpeazu, I've not been hearing about Ikpeazu. Now Ugwuanyi, who was a member of the G5, is among those that has been nominated for ambassador rather. He was the former governor. So in 2 separate letters to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, President Tinubu asked the Senate to consider and confirm expeditiously 15 nominees as career ambassadors and 17 nominees as non-career ambassadors. Read a statement on Saturday by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. In the statement titled, Tinubu nominates 32 additional ambassadors, Onanuga noted there are 4 women on the career ambassadors list and 6 women on the non-career ambassadors list. Among the non-career ambassadors designates are Ugwuanyi Kalu from Abia, former presidential aide. Reno. Okay, no. I think I'm reading it wrong. Among the non-career ambassador designates are Ugwuanyi Kalu from Abia. That's one. Then a former presidential aide, Reno Omokri from Delta State. That's two. Then former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmood Yakubu. So what is this now? Yakubu left as chairman of INEC and now has been made an ambassador. So what are they trying to compensate him for? Are they trying to compensate him for what went down in 2023? I don't know. Then we have former Ekiti First Lady, Erulu Adebayo, and former Enugu Governor, Ugwuanyi, which I said is a member of the G5. Others are Tasiu Musa Meigari, former Speaker of the Katsina House of Assembly, Yakubu Ngambo, a former commissioner in Plateau State, and former Deputy Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education Commission, Professor Nora Ladi Dadot, a former senator from Plateau, Otumba Femi Pedro, the former Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Femi Fani-Kayode, the former Aviation Minister from Osun State. So finally, FFK, Femi Fani-Kayode has been made an ambassador. Finally, he has been a subject of ridicule on social media. Where people, anytime President Tinubu makes appointment and FFK is not in the list, people will ridicule him that he did not benefit from the Tinubu administration, even though he supported the Tinubu administration. Now we see him, he has been nominated for ambassador. Then the Punch goes on to report that an Nkechi Ufoshuku from Anambra State are on the nomination list. The statement read. Also on the list are former First Lady of Oyo, Fatima Florence Ajimobi, former Lagos Commissioner Lola Akonde, former Adamawa Senator Grace Bent, former Governor of Abia, Victor Okezie Ikpeazu. So now, you see that members of the G5 now, let me read it on whether I will see Governor Tun's name before I make further comments. So we have former Governor of Abia, Victor Okezie Ikpeazu, member of the G5, getting nominated for ambassador. Senator Jimo Ibrahim, businessman, lawyer, and senator from Ondo State, and the former ambassador of Nigeria to the Holy See, that's the Vatican, Ambassador Paul Oga Adiku from Benue State. Among the nominees for career ambassador and high commissioner designates are Enebeshi Monica Okwoshuku from Abia State, Yakubu Nyako Danlandi from Taraba, Maimuna Ibrahim Betsto from Adamawa, Musa Abubakar from Kebbi, Sindof Pepi Endoni from Bayelsa, Shima Geoffrey Leoma David from Ebonyi, and Modupe Adiola Ibrahim from Ogun State. The other nominees are Abibola Samuel Ruben Ondo, Yvonne Ehinose Oduma from Edo State, Hamza Mohammed Saleh from Niger State, Ambassador Shehu Bade Katsina, Ambassador Ahmed Mohammed Mogunu from Borno State, Ambassador Mohammed Saidu Dahiru from Kaduna State, Ambassador Olatunji Ahmed Sulu Gambari from Kwara State, and Ambassador Wahab Adekule Akonde from Osun State. The new nominees are expected to be posted to countries with which Nigeria maintains excellent and strategic bilateral relations, such as China, India, South Korea, Canada, Mexico, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, South Africa, Kenya, and to permanent missions such as the United Nations, UNESCO, and the African Union. All the nominees will know their diplomatic assignments after their confirmation by the Senate, it read. Last week, President Tinubu sent 3 ambassadorial nominees for screening and confirmation. The nominees were Ambassador Ayodele Oke from Oyo, Ambassador Amin Mohammed Dahatu from Jigawa, and retired Colonel Lateef Kayode Are, Ogun State. I think this was the former head of the NIA that was involved with money being found in his properties and all that. So this is a report from Punch today, 5:15 p.m. by Stephen Agbolu. So finally, the complaints after President Trump of the US threatened that he was going to invade Nigeria, he was going to bomb, on account of the Christian genocide issue. After that threat, a lot of things came out. One of the points is that people have been complaining. President Tinubu was sworn in May 29, 2023. This is more than 2 years afterwards, and the reports say that he has delayed the longest. We often refer to President Buhari as Baba Go Slow, but Buhari appointed ambassadors quicker than President Tinubu. So it has been surprising. People have been wondering. Ambassadors have been recalled since shortly after Tinubu became president. The career ambassadors were recalled, that they were called back and relieved of their position. And then there have not been substantive ambassadors in many of these countries. Like in the US and others, there were no substantive no substantive ambassadors. You just had people who were working in that office, holding brief, but they were not substantive ambassadors. And people wondered why President Tinubu has not appointed ambassadors. That if Nigeria had a substantive ambassador to the United States, that ambassador will now mediate, will now interface between the United States and Nigeria. So now we've seen that President Tinubu has gotten the message that the delay in appointing ambassadors contributing to the diplomatic issues that Nigeria is having. And so we see this appointment that has been made. We have career ambassadors and non-career ambassadors. So 32 ambassadorial nominees, and we see that 15 are career ambassadors, while 17 are non-career ambassadors. And interestingly, we see that political favors have been handed out. You have Femi Fani-Kayode, FFK, who was a strong supporter of Tinubu, being appointed ambassador. We have Reno Omokri, former aide to President Jonathan, who supported Atiku, before the presidential election. Atiku lost and now made an bad turn and is supporting President Tinubu. Reno Omokri is somebody who led a protest against Tinubu when Tinubu went to Chatham House, to give a speech before the elections. He was leading a protest mentioning the allegations against President Tinubu and all that. But since Tinubu has become president, he made an bad turn. Just like Daniel Bwala, who was a spokesperson to Atiku during the elections. And after Atiku lost, Daniel Bwala made an bad turn and started supporting Tinubu and started praising Tinubu, and Daniel Bwala was appointed as one of the spokespersons to President Tinubu. So now we see Reno Omokri, who also made the same bad turn, has been making overtures to see if he could be appointed as get an appointment in Tinubu's administration. So, and people have been laughing at him that he has not been getting out, because new ministers were appointed, his name was not there. So now we see finally Reno Omokri being rewarded for his recent support for President Tinubu. And then we see members of the G5. As I've said, Wike, the head of the G5, was made minister of the FCT. Seyi Makinde, who has left the group, obviously, is still the governor of Oyo State, so he doesn't need political favors from the Tinubu administration. But the three other guys, we have Ikpeazu from Abia State, Ugwuanyi from Enugu, and Otum from Benue State. The Otum is not in this list. So Otum seems not to have benefited from the whole G5 something. But Ikpeazu has been nominated as a non-career ambassador. Ugwuanyi has been nominated as a non-career ambassador. So the G5, now probably G4 three have benefited, remaining Samuel Otum. We don't know what he may be rewarded with for his support. I think what happened, let me remember now. Samuel Otum was in that G5, right? The G5 was formed against Atiku because Atiku was the northern candidate of the PDP, and the G5 insisted that the presidency should go to the south, so they supported a southern candidate. But Samuel Otum, before the elections, supported Peter Obi. He did not support Tinubu. Peter Obi visited Benue State, and Samuel Otum, he didn't really say I endorse Peter Obi, but he made it obvious that he would rather support Obi to be president. So I think him not actively, openly supporting Tinubu, I think may have worked against him if you talk in terms of this compensation. So he was one member of the G5 who did not support Atiku in PDP, but he did not support Atiku, was against Atiku, but he did not support Tinubu. He rather supported Peter Obi because he liked what Peter Obi stands for. I think that is why he has not been rewarded in this way with ambassadorial position. So we see these political appointments that have been made, ambassadorial positions, we've seen that, and so people are being compensated. What is interesting is the appointment of Mahmood Yakubu, former INEC Chairman, as an ambassador, nomination as an ambassador, which is quite interesting. There's been this issue about talking about the independence of the autonomy and independence of INEC. There's been this issue, 2023 elections, there are a lot of issues. He said there was technical glitch. Mahmood Yakubu promised it was going to be the freest, fairest, and most verifiable elections, but we had the technical glitch, the server didn't work for presidential election and all that, So now he has finished his term. Professor Amoputan, law professor, is now the current chairman of INEC. I've seen Mahmood Yakubu leaving office, and now he's been appointed as an ambassador. So this thing is interesting. It adds to the issue, because if you are an INEC chairman and you conducted an election that saw the person emerging as president, and after you leave office you are now receiving an appointment from the president, I'm just wondering what kind of message he sends. I don't really think, personally, I think if he should do the right thing by not accepting it, at least it should show some measure of independence. It is not good that you are INEC chairman, you oversaw an election, somebody emerged as president. When you now leave as INEC chairman, the person now appoints you as an ambassador. Whereas there are some issues that he has not really cleared out, he has not settled. He has not told us what kind of technical glitch that took place in 2023 that prevented the IRF server from working for receiving election results across the country. We have not really received details about that. You understand? So now to be accepting ambassadorial appointment in this instance, I think it goes against the principle of independence of INEC. It should not be seen receiving favors from somebody who won an election that he conducted. You just imagine that what was his name? Attahiru Jega was the INEC chairman when Jonathan lost and Buhari now became president. When Buhari became president, Attahiru Jega left INEC and went to teach. You understand? Just after Buhari left, that Tinubu became president, it was Tinubu that now appointed Attahiru Jega to be an advisor to the president. Then there is a livestock ministry and stuff like that. But it would not have been proper for President Buhari, who emerged as the winner of that process, to not appoint Attahiru Jega as in any position. It would not have been proper. It would not have been proper for Attahiru Jega to accept that appointment. So in this instance, I don't think it's proper for Mahmood Yakubu to accept this ambassadorial thing. I don't think so. I think he should decline it, because it doesn't send a good message. It doesn't send a good message that you conducted the election and the person that won the election now gave you an appointment, a political appointment afterwards. It doesn't send a good message, especially when there were some irregularities that were reported by observers of that election. It doesn't send a good message. It doesn't show the independence of INEC. And INEC is supposed to be independent. As a professor of history, he could take academic positions in the university. He could do other things. That he shouldn't accept this appointment by the Tinubu administration, because it sends a wrong message. It says a very wrong message and sets a very wrong precedence for this. But we'll see how it turns out. The list have been submitted to the Senate, and so we see if he will accept, if Mahmood Yakubu would accept this appointment, So then those are the interesting points of this. Finally, President Tinubu has gotten around to making ambassadorial appointments. The excuse that was given by the Tinubu administration was that they had, just because of funding, not having adequate funding for the foreign embassies, and that is why ambassadors were not appointed. For somebody that stopped fuel subsidy and said that certain records in the money that the government is making, certain records in FAC allocations and all that, to now come around and say that they didn't have funding for ambassadorial positions and all that, it wasn't really, those things doesn't really go together. So it's a good thing that the ambassadors have been nominated. I think, with these nominations, they will definitely clear through the Senate. Then they should go out there and do the work of representing Nigeria in the various embassies to project a positive image of the country. So those are political roundup issue. On to other issues next time.